Get a signal to YouTube. Oh, here we go. Okay, welcome to Hack Fukuoka, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. I got some new faces and some old faces. Lovely to see. I'm just going to do a quick introduction about the Engineer Cafe and this spaces and the events for people who've never been here before. And then we're going to have a great talk from Adam Stone about Unity and app development. A bunch of announcements and stuff, lots of things to talk about today. So let's go through it. Yeah, Engineer Cafe, it's free, and it's for all levels and all areas of engineering, software, hardware, and everything in between. So we're here for the community, and we're here to support individuals in their study as well, not companies necessarily. So if you've got something you want to do or want to learn about, this is the place to be. From kind of very, very specific programming language questions to, I want to do AI, how do I start? And everything like that. And we're kind of community driven, so if you've got any ideas for events, please come do them. As some people did today, though we've got all this brilliant space downstairs with laser cutter, 3D printer, and coming soon, a CNC machine, small one. I don't exactly know when, but probably after Golden Week we'll be able to do stuff. You need to do training for this, but it only takes about an hour, and then you can start messing around with it, building your own stuff. Please come talk to me if you've got questions about that or anything you want to do. You can run your own event as well. The rules are pretty lax, so we'll let anyone do something, like me. So basically anything with a technology theme or a connection to technology is great, and we've got spaces up here, big spaces for lots of people, meeting rooms and smaller spaces for downstairs for other stuff. Basically, events have to be free, and we've got loads of equipment, HDMI switches, microphones, cameras, everything you could need. So please, if you want to do something, come talk. We got a little announcement about an event coming up from Aaron. If you want to jump in, I've got your microphone. I'll do the slides.
Packed by my own bag. Hello.
Hello.
All right. So, I run lots of events in Vancouver. I've moved to Fukuoka. Is it working?
I think just a bit closer.
Check, check.
Yep.
There we go. Yeah, masks, attenuated
Yeah.
audio. So I'm starting a new thing here in Fukuoka. I've run it a little bit in-house at the office at my work. And now I want to kind of open it up a little bit more. And what it is this AI Dojo. So it has an AI Dojo. So the Steampunk Digital AI Dojo is about AI technologies that gives computers the ability to see, hear, feel, and understand our world. So I'm really looking at AI technologies that have some kind of sense that's direct to how you see, feel, hear, understand. And then apply that technology. So not as much data science, but more to the senses of the human senses. That's what I'm focusing on. The atmosphere idea is same as Hack Fukuoka. So casual, friendly, open to other speakers. So that'd be really great.
Hey, buddy.
So if you want to give a talk, you can reach out to me, yeah, let's team up and talk about AI stuff. So next is, so what are we going to do? Starting May 8th, after Golden Week, I'm going to have a talk on Unity Barracuda. What's cool about Unity Barracuda is that it allows you to build an AI, tie it to some cool graphics, and it runs cross-platform. So that's a pretty big game changer when it comes to AI technologies, because it doesn't care like what it's really running on. It's using your GPU. And so I'm going to talk about Barracuda, and I'm going to talk about the Onyx file format. It's kind of an open standard file format. It's a little bit like Apple's Core, what is it? Core network. It's a packaging format for AI that Apple came up with, which is really clever. There wasn't anything in the industry that did that. Now Onyx does that, so we'll get into what it is. And there's this great repository of models. So we'll talk about that too. So then to tie it together, Kajiro-san is a fellow in Tokyo that's been doing lots of really cool projects. So so I'll go through kind of like one of his samples that he's put out there, just to get into the details about how you tie it together. How do you get like a webcam input, do some processing to get it in the right way so that you can tie it through the whole Barracuda pipeline and get stuff out. So that's it, Unity Barracuda, right? And next. So if you want to sign up, you can pull out your cell phone and read the barcode and sign up.
So this is going to be a kind of regular thing, hopefully?
Yeah, I want to keep it fast and light, so I want to make it more regular. So I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm really just using somebody else's code. I'm not trying to write my own code. But I am understanding it, and then I'm going to try to communicate what it is. And I really like other people who would love to talk about AI stuff to get into some of the cool technologies and into how it works. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Great. So yeah, great example of an event coming from our community. We also have events coming from the Engineer Cafe. So we've got a video editing workshop, which is going to be on Saturday, 22nd of May. Basically a bit of basic video editing with DaVinci, some of the cool tricks for doing multi-camera, if you're making kind of conference videos, code explanation videos, anything like that. There'll be a lot of tips and tricks on how to do that. I'm going to be running that, and it's going to be a bilingual event, so you can get the content, the same content, once in Japanese and once in English, or a mixture of two, or whatever you like. So please come along to that. As usual, we got the kind of call for talks coming from Hack Fukuoka. We've had all sorts of talks, code walkthroughs, little scripts and modules people have made, kind of post-mortems, development stories, event reports. We'll take anything. But you know, we want a big wide net for that. And actually next month, just to tease, we have, it's kind of hard to see on the projector. Can anyone recognize what that is? What are you looking at?
Commodore 64.
So these are all little models as part of a board game, and they're all 3D printed.
Oh, wow.
So we've got a guy, David, he's going to come talk about 3D printing and how to do some really high quality 3D prints. He's done like a version of Kokura Castle like this big. He's done some really cool stuff. So that's next month's Hack Fukuoka. But before that, of course, we got tonight's special guest, Adam, going to tell us all about some Unity app development, and I might jump in halfway through as well.
Sure.
Let me get your slides up.
QR codes, people.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Okay, please take it away. So let's have a big round of applause for Adam.
Give it up. Thank you very much, Domo. All right, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Adam Stone. I'm from New Zealand. I teach at Kyushu Sangyo Daigaku over there in Kashi. And today I'd like to talk about an app that I've recently published to both the Apple Store, the App Store, and to Google Play. Pretty proud of it. It's actually my second app I've published in the past couple of years. Just published them like last week or so. The past couple of years have been pretty intense, learning a lot about how to make apps with Unity, and I've discovered that I really enjoy it. So I'm looking forward to my next app. But the app today I want to share with you is called, can you read that? Hatsuon Kigo, Dojo Budiska, IPA. Apparently that says Pro. I'll tell you why in a minute. So I invite you to download the app and give it a go. And it's free. And if you have a moment, give me 5 stars. Review it if you will. But without much further ado, let's jump in and have a look. What is Pro? What is Pro? Well, there's English, there's Japanese. This is also in the app. The first screen you'll see, an introduction screen, is what is Pro? You'll see maybe a message, something similar to this. The app is bilingual, English and Japanese. And it was really, I don't want to go too much into the pedagogical, the academic side of things, because There's a bit more of a nerdy kind of presentation about how I made it. But the context is at the university I teach, and I'm sure many universities, they don't really have a great resource for how to pronounce words. A bit of the history, I started making YouTube videos of how to pronounce the word list, but that failed on a number of different fronts for different reasons. So Pro, let me see, here we go. Pro is made with Unity and C#. Anybody not heard of Unity or C#? I'm in the right room? Maybe? Google it. Unity is great for making apps on all sorts of platforms. I'm making apps for iPhone and Android because those are the apps that all the students have in their pockets. So I learned how to code in C#. On the left here is a menu. That's what it looks like in Unity. But let's continue, shall we? Made with Unity and C#. The top left is the very first rudimentary, bare bones Frankenstein version. Just slapped some UI together, tried it in the class, and the kids seemed to be using it, which was very encouraging. And I thought a little bit about the layout. I quite like this kind of old notepad. I don't know if the detail is there very much. Let me just zoom in on it. Old notepad with rulers, kind of an old school kind of a look. And then I thought, okay, let's get to the name. It was originally called Vocab Viddies, vocabulary videos, right? And my colleague, my research partner, thought, nah, let's work on that name. Then I went for Pronounce Pro. I like the ring for that, but it's too long to fit on the app screen, on the iPhone screen, so I thought I'd reduce it to Pro. So with that in mind, I thought, let's get a professional look about it. So I went for that lawyer suit with golden buttons. I've actually lost the original UI, but there it is. Anyway, I settled on this design here. 3 colors, black, gray, white, and orange. That's 4, isn't it? So my question for you, be answered a little bit later on. What do you think the inspiration for this design is? If you know the answer, don't tell anybody. Have a little bit of a think about it. We'll get to that later. And let's move on to the nuts and bolts. So inside this app, once you've entered your name, you can please try the app yourself. You enter your name, you enter your gender, some details, you enroll in a course. But the guts of it is, when you get to a screen like this, it's very simple. Choose a word that you don't know how to say, and you tap it. And you'll see a video of somebody's very cute mouth pronouncing that word with an English accent. So no katakana ego, no katakana English, the actual pronunciation. I've actually got 6 speakers, 3 boys and 3 girls, representing the Americas, Canada and America, England and Australasia, New Zealand and Australia, of both genders. But so a variety of accents in there because there's a bunch of different world accents out there, and we plan to put more accents in there too. So we've got 2 basic ones where you just click the English word, see the video, or if you want to level up, how do you say, I don't know, senkyo in English? You can try and challenge yourself, and then you press the button and you find the English word will come out. And a more recent development is a Karuta Game. So I'm not sure what the next slide is. Let's talk about, those are the 3 main activities, but we're looking forward to sort of adding some more ideas to it. Let me talk a little bit about the Karuta Game. Has anybody not heard of Karuta? Not familiar with Karuta? Karuta is a Japanese card game where somebody at the front will start saying one of these Japanese phrases, and all the cards are laid out, and as soon as you know what the hiragana is for that word, you slap it on your hand on it, and that's 1 point for you. So the way this works is you tap the start button, and a video will play of an English word. So, I don't know, what have we got? One of those words might be grandfather, for example. The cute mouth will come up and will say, grandfather. And if you know what that is in Japanese, you hit that button, and then that button will be inactive for a while. And then the next video will come up. If you get it wrong, it'll say, boo-boo, try again. And while you're doing that, on the top left-hand corner, a little counter will be counting down. So the faster you complete the level and get all those words, the higher your score. Okay? And by completing all the words and all the lists, there are 10 lists These lists of words are taken from my university, the prescribed words. Obviously, we can make different lists to put in there. When you've done all those lists, all those words and all those lists, then it unlocks a secret function that can change the color of the whole app, the theme, and another little Easter egg in there. So I'll let you complete all the levels to find out what that Easter egg is. So that's a Karuta game, and it's actually kind of fun. Yep, I'll move on. Getting into the nuts and bolts. So the Karuta game has a shared leaderboard, which means that you can, when you've completed all the levels, then you can compare your scores with your peers, with other classmates, and who got the best score. And of course, if you click on Donald's scores, then you can see your own individual scores for each list. This high scores connected leaderboard is, I originally was researching Firebase and what else is a Photon Unity Network, PUN, P-U-N, and a bunch of different APIs, but Dreamlo turned out to be the winner. Really easy to use. If you know your way around C#, there's some YouTube tutorials. You can copy paste some code from here and there, and you've got yourself a pretty good little leaderboard. A caveat, if that's the right word, is that a disclaimer. He says on there that it's just one guy, a guy in America, Carmen Guida, I think his name is, who's running the site. It's not a big company, so if he forgets to pay his website bills, then the whole site might come crashing down. So bear that in mind. Yeah, but I do recommend Dreamlo. I think there might even be an asset on the Unity store too. Okay, so this app actually has 3 connections to the internet inside the app. One is the shared leaderboard. So I got a research grant to pay for this, or pay for some of the things I can use to make this. So got to be doing some research. It's also not just a resource for Japanese learners of English pronunciation, but it's also a tool for researchers who want to get some quantitative, huge amounts of data about what words Japanese learners are interested in. So every button, pretty much every button in there, will send a little bit of data to a Google form. It'll be time-stamped, as you can see on the left. It's got the unique device ID thing, the UID, and what scene it's in and what word they just pressed, or the name of the button. For the Karuta game, it'll also tell you what word is displayed and what button was pressed, so you can quickly see, oh yeah, that's a word that's difficult for the student. Yep, so it can talk to the Google Forms, and it can talk to Dreamlo, and because videos are kind of big, it comes pre-installed with 2 courses, grade 1, semester 1, and grade 2, semester 1. That's enough to get the students started. But should they want to download other accents or other courses that we perhaps make later with different speakers, then there is a function in there for downloading different courses by different speakers, different video packages. And that also comes with a little indicator telling you the size of the app, because all of a sudden your app gets too big, then you're in trouble. So it does come with a delete function too. Okay, so if you look at this page of Moji, on the left is the word, then there's a Japanese, and then there's the link. So the app will download a text file of these things separated by tabs, and it will quickly split them all up and make a little an array matching those 2 words and the link. And it'll download each video just algorithmically, programmatically, go through them all and put them inside the app, labeling them appropriately so it can find it easily. Gosh, that looks beautiful, doesn't it? Next page. So, processing the videos, of course, to pre-install the app with these 2 courses of videos, well, straight away realizing the videos are huge, had to do a bunch of compression, get them as small as we could, and file naming obviously is really important. So the name of the course is followed by, well, the name of the speaker followed by the name of the course, followed by the list, and then followed by the individual word number, just so we can locate the words easily enough, and the actual word. And using C#, splitting that file name into bits of information we can use for the different activities. The process was, I originally started by recording each word individually on my smartphone, saving it, naming it, next one. 150 words, there goes the day. You know, so, and having 6 people recording 600 words each, it became pretty apparent pretty quickly that we needed a process to hasten that up. So, hat tip to Laurie Griffiths, came with a great solution. He's got some secret magic powers that can take a long video file and chop it up into, split it where the silences are between the words. So we could record, 150 words at once, theoretically, and then just give it to him, and he'd chop it all up. He would split it by the silence and file name them also programmatically, and give it a bit of compression and a bit of a filter to make it all look lovely and usable for me. Have I got that right, Laurie?
Yeah, I can talk about it in a little bit more detail if you want a few details. But it's actually not on silences. It's based on a task called forced alignment, which is basically matching text and the timings in audio. So it's based on the actual sounds that are in the audio files. It's a relatively easy version of the task because there's no background noise we could control for that. But the basic pipeline was sort of do some pre-processing for the video, so put on whatever filters you want, and we do that at the start because it's just one big long video of a person saying 600 words. Then after that, apply the forced alignment algorithm, which is kind of an off-the-shelf thing, to find the timings of each individual word. A few scripts which put the timings into FFmpeg, and then do the editing and the cutting with FFmpeg. FFmpeg is incredibly powerful, goes incredibly deep, but for this particular task, it was really, really useful. Yeah, and that was the basic process. How many videos do you think were in total? Maybe...
Well, 6 by 600.
Yeah, a good few thousand.
Words, individual words that came out, yeah.
So, yeah, I definitely think it saved a lot of time, hopefully.
Yeah. I just scratched the surface of FFmpeg, and what I managed to do was crop the video, which is useful because I was using just a smartphone on a tripod and rings, and they're not perfect, but they work. Next time we do them, we'll probably have a head brace to keep the head from sort of drifting off to the side. But hey, it works. That's the main thing. This is just the first version, okay? Don't be too hard on me. Thank you, Laurie. Shall we have a look at the next screen? Now, this is where I need your help. Can I have a show of hands? Android users, who are you? Just the one? No, 3? Oh, come on, don't be embarrassed, don't be shy. Yeah, Androids. So you can probably guess how many versions of the iPhone there are by the number, iPhone 12 and so like that. It's like 10,000 different models of Android out there, literally. I released this on Google Play, and I've had a couple of feedbacks from somebody who owns a Huawei P30 Lite and somebody who had an Xperia, and they had problems with the video playback. And it's really hard for me to test that. I have one Galaxy A51. I've got my daughter's little, what is it? Aquos or something like that. But it's really hard to test it on Android. So please, particularly the Android users, if you wouldn't mind downloading and telling me if there's a problem playing the videos, I'd love to know. And also, Unity users, show of hands. Have you got any experience with video? Oh, I need to talk to you. I did a... What's that? Oh, well, I need to talk to you particularly. So I did some Googling, as you do. You don't just go straight to the Stack Flow and say, solve my problems. Did some Googling. Apparently someone said multi-threaded rendering, turn that off, which I did. So looking forward to finding out if that works. Like I say, it works on my Android. That did actually initially come with a function for speed adjustment. Like you could slow down the videos for people who really want to see the pronunciation in slow motion. And it works okay on the iPhone, but a bit problematic with the Android, so that's gone. Looking forward to talking to you or anybody else who's got some feedback on that. Now, what's on the next slide, I wonder? Oh, It wouldn't be hack news without cheat codes, would it? Before I divulge the cheat codes, you've got to promise to me that with great power comes great responsibility. You're not going to hack it and ruin it for everybody. This cheat mode will enable you to, look, this is my innovation, but I'm sure other people have already innovated this. I mean, it's really useful. I've got this working in both of my apps. One is just a big super menu. So on every screen, a little cheat button will pop up, and I can just quickly flip to this kind of menu. And those of you who know Unity know it's divided into scenes. I can just quickly jump to a scene that I want to go in and check the layout or check if it's working, right? And on the right-hand side is it's like a data page. So any player preferences, like languages, or if it's cheat mode, or there's a button there for wipe all the data or put some dummy info in there. So I can just test the app, right? So it's only for testing. So have I got your promise? Yeah? Right, don't ruin my app. With this, I just say this because I can give you the cheat code and you can quickly get a top score on the Karuta game, but there's no kudos in that, you know that, you're hackers, right? It's released to the kids, so just don't spam the high scores with spammy high scores. I mean, Dulce, I can delete those anyway. I don't think you can actually break the app using the cheat mode. So the clue is, the cheat code is, are you ready for this? Turn your cameras off. Home, YouTube, look the other way. It's one of those two words, and it's not mode. Okay? It's pretty easy. Come on, we're hackers. You would have figured that out already by now, right? So anyway, be my guest. So to turn the cheat off. Okay, one word, no spaces. Or delete and re-download, reinstall. So yeah, try out the cheat mode. Okay, so I could talk all night about this because I'm pretty excited about it. I've got stuff to talk about the layout, if anyone's interested, how we and my colleague worked on the layout, the schematics and the flow of it all. But just a quick question, any guesses on the design inspiration of this app? Nothing? Android users, you don't have to put your hand up. You got it? Oh, is that an app? No. Oh, yeah, I think the old school books. I can remember something like that. No, it's not that. It's an app. Only available on the Android, on the iPhone. Does this look a little bit... Well, that's good. It passed the test for intellectual property appropriation, right? The answer is, yeah. We know that one, don't we? Like I say, I went through a different sort of design ideas, and I thought, shit, just keep it simple. Just Sanshoku, 3-color palette kind of a thing. Yeah. So, should I stop for questions? I don't even know how long I've been yakking for.
I've got a question, actually.
Okay, go ahead.
Just a quick one. So you've clearly combined a lot of kind of low-code and no-code tools here. You've got like Unity, you had that API, Google Documents, all this Dropbox. I wanted to ask, roughly in the whole project, how many lines of code do you think you wrote? Just roughly.
Great question, dude, because I am counting them. I find it very hard to delete code that I've not using, so I just copy-paste them to the bottom, put them in the comments. So once I've trimmed those back off, oh God, I could show you. It's right in there.
Yeah, if you want, you don't have to, but...
I'd love to,
Well, if you just got a rough ballpark of is it 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000?
Oh, thousands, mate, thousands. Okay, here we go. Here's the one script. I try and keep it to one script per scene. Mm-hmm. That's what I've learned. That's what I taught myself. You have too many scripts all over the place. It's really hard to keep track of them all. But this one here, this is the course management scene. And again, it's sort of diluted with all this commented out stuff, just because it's hard to let go of that code. Keep on scrolling. This one's quite a big page because it's downloading videos, deleting them, all that kind of stuff. Keep on scrolling, all the way to the bottom. Where are we? So above all of that, GOMI, end of file is around about 2,600. But that's only one, so that times 8 scenes.
Okay, so there's still a good chunk of code in there as well.
There's a chunk
Even
of
though
code.
you've got some of these low code, no code tools
Yeah.
supporting.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
sure there's a bunch of shortcuts that I didn't take that I don't know about.
Sure.
Thank you. Any other
Do you have
questions?
any other questions? I can pass the mic round.
Oh, catch. Go ahead, caller.
Thank you very much for the presentation.
Not at all, my friend.
Yeah. So if I understand well, people watch videos and the videos tell them how to pronounce the word, right?
Sure, yeah.
And do you expect to add any feature to that application?
Yes, I do. Yes, I definitely do. Because, I mean, we've got all these videos at our disposal. The Karuta game kind of came a little bit later in the game, just to add an element of fun. Talking to another colleague, he brought up keywords in context, KWIC apparently, which these words by themselves are kind of abstract. So I consider this a resource like a dictionary. But words in context, like just banana, it means nothing without the sentence, monkeys like to eat bananas, would give it a lot more meaning. However, a video like that is going to take a long time to record and a lot of memory space. So I'm thinking a future edition of this would have like a live stream of the individual sentences. I wouldn't download those. Another suggestion was a searchable box. So like, I want to know how to say that word potato. I can't remember what list it is in. So and I think that's pretty simple to implement. Just to put in potato. How do I say that word? Type it in. Up comes the video. Another suggestion was the user being able to collect their own favorite words, like, oh, potato, that's a good word. I'll remember that one so I can come back. But a variety of other, it lends itself well to sort of card games, like Karuta, obviously. Another card game called Spot It. Anybody familiar with Spot It? Google it. It's a good game. Yeah, word games like that. Thank you. Yes, is the answer.
As well, if you had some suggestion, would it be possible to have the user to record his own voice to check, or the
Yes.
system will check and say, okay, at least you
Yeah,
get close to the good pronunciation.
I have actually thought about that too. From what I understand, that doesn't, there isn't like a asset for Unity that will do voice recognition. Somehow it taps into the device's voice recognition. So if you've got a crappy little Android, it might not be so good. It might need an American accent or something like that. Yeah, that's something I'm very interested in. I'm currently doing another kind of project using an app called Flipgrid. Anybody heard of Flipgrid? Students can upload their videos. What I've been using it for is the students would upload their video and it automatically generates the subtitles that I can download and compare to my master file in a spreadsheet. I've actually made a program for this, and it'll give them a score on their pronunciation for individual words. But yeah, voice recognition is something I'm very interested in too, future missions. Thank you.
Thanks.
More questions?
Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, thanks for the presentation.
Thank you.
I did notice like the title of the app is quite like peculiar. How do you find it, like through the App Store? Like, what are the expectations of what you expect people to like search generally? Like,
That's
the
a
app
great
and stuff?
question. Like every time I say, let me just search that app for you. PR. Oh, how do I make that? I've got that in my predictive text on my phone, but obviously that's a bit of a trick. Yeah, I don't. Keywords or tags or something in there.
Like pronounce English.
Yeah, I don't know if I like that name altogether, to be honest. But it needs some other. You can probably find it if you search vocab viddies, or if you go into Google Play and you put PUB : my name, then it'll come up with my apps because I'm the publisher. I'm not making money out of it, so I don't need everybody to download it. But I'll give my kids the links to it, just to be sure.
Cool.
Good point, though. Thank you.
I was just curious, at the moment, are there just your students using it, or do you have, are you finding other users from the App Store also download it?
It's just been released like last week.
Oh.
My colleague, my researcher that we got the grant together on, Well, I'm hoping he's going to give it to his kids, but otherwise, at this stage, just the kids in my class.
Was this the first Unity app you made?
No, it's actually the second one.
Okay, sorry, you didn't say.
Yeah,
so-
the first one I did was augmented reality. So if you go to those sites, you'll find it. If you're feeling like hacking, you'll need a poster to trigger the AR, which you probably haven't got your hands on. But if you go to my website, which is in the developer's website, you can find a copy of those images to have a little play with it.
Excellent.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Awesome. So thank you very much, Adam. Let's have a big round of applause. Adam and his
You're very
app.
welcome. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah. That's about everything for today. A little bit of a short one. But if anyone's got a lightning talk they want to jump up and do, you're welcome. No problem. Maybe not today. But yeah, please let me just get the slide back again. Where this one. Next month, please put it in your diaries. Come along to the Hack Fukuoka about amazing 3D prints. And if you've got anything you've 3D printed yourself, that would be a good time to show it off and come compare. I think what we're going to do for people who've come in person today is just come and have a chat about some of the topics and things people are working on right now. But everyone on the stream, thanks for watching. And let me just double check there are no extra questions from the stream. No questions on the chat. Okay, well, I guess we'll finish off there. Thank you very much for coming. That was Hack Fukuoka April.
All right. Thank you. Download my app.